Welcome back to Funny-ish. Oh, you didn't like that?
I liked it. I just wasn't expecting it. I like it though. It's I guess we'd have to start all of them like that now.
Yeah, I mean, is that like a comic voice? Like, hey guys, we're talking comedy here.
It sounds like a morning Zoo Crew guy. Like
Oh,
it
Zoo
feels like
Crew.
a boing sound effect would not be
Yeah.
out of place after you said that.
Watch out on I-85. You got a lot of boing out there.
Boing and a lot of boing. We got a
Oh,
lot.
what's this? A rubber chicken.
Just a helicopter.
Yeah.
So this is a Funny-ish podcast.
Yes, I'm Aram Martinez.
I'm Andrew Stein. I'd say that was a pretty accurate portrayal of our comedic
Yes.
stylings,
Yeah.
if you will.
That's probably as many laughs as I get during my first 30 minutes of comedy.
Nice. I
Yeah.
mean, you got a solid laugh out of me, if that makes you feel better.
You're right. So I just do voices on stage.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done before.
Nah, you're like you're like the Bobcat Goldthwait of Atlanta
Oh my
comedy.
good. Hey guys. Oh man.
I don't know. I can't do voices.
Yeah, but no one should do that voice. No one ever.
Even he doesn't do it.
Oh man.
Even he's like, yeah, no one needs to do that.
I watched one of his movies recently, and I almost killed him. I was gonna say kill myself.
I almost went to his house and murdered him.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to say kill myself. That sounds suicidal. So I said kill him. Like that was better. That's homicidal.
No,
like,
yeah, that's 100% worse.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm taking someone else's life. That's bad. Like, Aram, let's not do that.
No, that's no way to start the Funny-ish podcast.
Welcome to Funny-ish,
Funny-ish.
podcast for comedians and for people that love comedy.
And people who love open mic comedy.
Oh yeah.
That's my attempt at the voice.
Who's that? What'd you say, Mary? Oh yeah. I'm
Mary, that's our producer.
Yeah.
No, that's our intern.
Yeah.
We keep referring to an intern that's off mic. Can you go and look that up for us?
Thank you very much.
Can I get a coffee? Thanks. That's a guy.
All right, so let's do a rundown. That's been 10 minutes, right? We just talked about the intro for 10
That was
minutes.
a solid 25 minutes of good comedy right there, I think. So if you've never listened to the Funny-ish podcast before, what we like to do is we like to do a rundown of all of the open mics currently happening in
Correct.
Atlanta.
If you've never listened to the Funniest podcast, go listen to all the rest of them. There's 200 episodes out there.
There's a lot. And by 200, he means 2.
Yeah.
And so this is the open mic schedule for the week, for this week.
Love it.
All right. So Monday evening is when the week starts for comedy. Nothing Sunday. Sorry. Monday night is McCracken's and Jimmy Max. Those are both in Marietta. They're both show up, go up. Pretty easy to get on. They're both fine. Tuesday night is Roll Call Theater. Does an open mic, which is a bucket style open mic. And then Cat's Cafe is a show up, go up open mic. Noni's is a bucket open mic. And then Limerick Junction is show up, go up open mic. Wednesday night is Roll Call again. It's at a different time. It's actually later. So it's 9 instead of 8:30 or 8 o'clock or whatever. And then we have, and that's bucket as well. Blue Lagoon is show up, go up. Crown is show up, go up. Smith's Old Bar is show up, go up. And then Thursday, we have Frogger open mic, and we have Black House open mic. Both of those are show up, go up. Monticello and Lion's Den, show up, go up as well. And actually, I missed one. Tuesday night, there's also Crave. That's a show up, go up as well. So that's about it. That's what we got going on in Atlanta. We got plenty of shows to do. Got plenty of...
You're not sure about Saturday and Sunday, right?
As far as I know, there is a Friday.
Okay.
Every once in a while, there's a show called Black Bear at Bear Necessities.
Black Bear Tavern.
Black Bear Tavern, and they will if they have time, they'll do bucket spots for that.
If they have time.
Yeah,
So if you have the time to go there.
yeah, then you might be able to get on there.
Welcome to Funny-ish. I can't get out of it now.
That's my voice. Is I just mumble into the mic.
You're doing both voices right now.
This is actually this is really only one person
Yeah.
on this podcast. It's just me pretending like Aram is here, and
You're given pauses, which you don't do in your comedy set, and then you go back and you fill it in. This is all practice for you.
That was a low blow, but that is constructive criticism, and I believe that I will use that in the future of my comedy. And,
Okay, you big jerk.
Yeah. Well, that was a low blow. That
I'm
wasn't
just
fair.
hurt. So what do you like about open mics versus list versus buckets versus show up, go up?
I'm a list boy personally.
So you try to get there early.
I just like to be because I get off work at 6 every night, so I just hustle my way down to a show and just try and get there as early as possible. And that's my thing is I'm a big list guy. I'll be honest, most shows don't usually start before 7 or 7:30 anyway. So I haven't had a problem getting to a show on time. So that's just me. I get if you're working late, why you wouldn't be into it.
There's a lot of different people do comedy. That's what I've been told.
You think so?
A lot of people try to get into comedy and they have a full-time job, corporate or something like that. I don't think it's any worse than anything else because I worked at Starbucks, did comedy. You just have to put up the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Either whichever.
Which I have been doing, but.
Yeah, I mean, you've been putting in the time. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is paying off.
Right.
Not since you dug one at me, I get to do one. I get to throw it back. You know what I mean? It's like tennis.
Yeah. And you dug both sides of that one because you're doing both voices here.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing both voices here.
This is
Andrew and Andrew.
There's actually 90 people here. So many people.
They're all talking to me right now.
They're all in my brain.
So how do you prepare for an open mic?
I should probably prepare more if I'm honest, but my method is I try and take time, at least like usually it's my lunch break during the week to just think critically about either a bit that I have that maybe is working but could work better. You know, like everyone has like those 5 or 6 out of 10 ones that you're like, this is working, but it's not what I want.
Right.
So usually I'll use that time to just sit with my phone and just come up with ideas of other angles or other kind of ways to discuss that topic. So that's kind of my process is during the week. I'll like during the day is when I'll kind of, do my writing, I guess, which is like, I don't really write pen to paper, truthfully. I usually just jot it down on my phone. I'll write like a few paragraphs here and there, but I don't like write pages and pages a day. I probably should, but
wow, I love paper and pen.
Yeah, most people do. I'm just I actually do it when I have my phone in my hand all the time. Yeah. So I'm just like a Gen Z comic, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. Follow me on TikTok, everyone. That's true. I started a TikTok also.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
It has two TikToks, and one of them was not stand-up. One of them was a dumb joke that I was like immediately regretted as soon as I posted it.
And you can't take it down. It's there forever, right?
Yeah. Well, I could take it down, but yeah, I feel. But
you just leave it up.
Yeah. I mean, no one saw it, so.
No one saw it. It's not hurting anybody.
I will say that's a great way. If you're like a comedian and you're like, I'm funny, but I don't have a way to get myself out there, I would say that. That's just me, guys. I'm just doing more voices.
Yeah, belly.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's our cat.
Mascot.
Yeah, that's the mascot of the Funniest Podcast.
Comedy cat.
That's Winterfell.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, but anyway.
So, do you know what you're gonna say before you grab the mic, or you just fly by the seat of your pants? You're like, you've had a bad day, and you're just gonna release it.
No, I can't do that. I always know at least which bits I'm about to do, and sometimes I have my phone on the stool next to me, and I'll just look at it real quick, just to like. And it's one of those things where if you're not you're not looking at it too much, then people will let you get away with it a little bit.
I would say for open mics, if you're working on something, do it. What you got to break it down. I would say if you're on a booked show,
maybe don't.
Yeah, if you're trying to get booked, then people want to know, hey, you have 5 minutes of material, and you don't have to look at your phone or you have a bunch of writing on your hands. If you're going to first year, notebook, phone.
Yeah, I'm 4 years in. I still do it at open mics where I'll have my phone next to me and I write down my set list in my phone and I put it on the stool and then I just like periodically I'll look over at it, make sure I did the joke that I was trying,
right?
The new thing. And my process is that I usually, if I'm at an open mic and I'm trying something new, I start with something that I know works and then I'll go into the new thing, and I'll end with something that I know works.
Yeah, BCA
Yeah.
material. So you do like your A material at the end.
Yes. Sure. Or yeah.
Your strongest joke.
It may
at
be
the end.
It may just be ACB or A or whatever. I don't know.
People say start strong and stronger. Who says Louis C.K.?
Probably.
Ralphie May.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Someone says that.
Someone
who makes money doing this.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. So we're doing this podcast for free. I'm doing this podcast for free, ladies and gentlemen.
I've made $60.
Oh, that's more than I made. In comedy, I've made.
But it's really like negative, like
a
couple thousand.
Oh well, if you're doing that, then yeah. I mean, like I've actually, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I've actually made money because I got given a check. I've gotten given checks a few times.
Yeah.
And from clubs, and I'm like so excited that I got a check. I don't actually cash it because I don't want to lose the check. And so I have it framed. Like I have 2 checks framed, one from Skull and one from Stand Up Live in Huntsville. So like I'm like I just like so I technically haven't made the money that they gave me.
Yeah, I have the Laughing Skull check for $10. So I'm just like, okay, well. Yeah.
I don't need the $10, and this is cool.
I'd rather it just say my name and Laughing Skull.
Yeah, like I got paid to stand in front of people and do.
I mean, if you're thinking about it, it's a pretty good rate. I mean, if you think about it's $10, people get paid what, $15 an hour, but you got paid $10 for 5 minutes.
That's a good way to look at it.
You know, I mean, so 20 minutes.
You just multiply that by like 60, or
and
no,
then,
not 60.
No,
by like 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's $200 an hour. Is what we're saying? Do we do math here?
I don't know. I've never.
Megan, can you do that?
Despite my religion, I've never been good at math.
Yeah, I have a degree in mathematics, and I'm just like totally lost. I'm bad at arithmetic.
I said 60, and you were like, yeah.
I'm just going with it. I'm like, comedians.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. $10 for 5 minutes is pretty good money.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with that.
When you're at Starbucks or somewhere else and you're making $11 an hour.
It doesn't help when you get when you like get the job, and then you immediately get fired after the first day, and then you don't get rehired again for like 5 more years.
That's comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just keep getting fired over and over again.
Like, no, we don't like that guy.
No, we're not a fan. And then
thank you.
And then they're like, he's better now.
We see your resume.
Yeah,
okay.
you got clean, you got out of rehab, and now you're doing better.
Yeah.
And now you get on stage, and then they're like, yeah, you know what, we were right the first time.
You dropped most of your dick jokes. You kept the good ones.
Right.
You know.
You kept some good dick tags.
Yeah.
And then now there's it's not even just dick jokes, it's a dick chunk now.
Yeah.
It's grown, and it's
a good way to look at it, a dick chunk.
Chunk of.
Yeah.
I guess that's a foreskin.
Welcome to the Dick Chunk Show.
The Dick Chunk Podcast.
Dick Chunk.
This week we're talking
chode
or no chode, or we have a scientist on to find out.
Snap into a chode. Trying to
snap into a.
Yeah. What's our tagline? That's good. I'm gonna write that down.
All right, that'll be our goal by the end of the podcast.
I'm just gonna say that to Mike, and that's gonna be just for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know,
just for me
and for all of our listeners. And if
us.
You guys do not laugh, you're Satan.
I'll get on board with that.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish. I don't even believe in that.
But
cool.
but they are Satan if they don't laugh.
Sure.
So yeah, I write
Only
my book.
Satan wouldn't laugh at that.
Yeah, exactly. But there are people out there who just grab the mic and have no idea what they're gonna say.
Yes, I've done that. I'm not gonna lie, I have done that because I have been in a situation. Now it's small. It's like situations where there's a bucket spot. I throw my name in the bucket. I'm not getting that. There's no way. There's one bucket spot and 40 comedians here. There's no way. And then I magically get the bucket spot, and I'm like, oh my god. Let me do crowd work for there was one show I got picked from the bucket just like by a fluke. There was like literally 40 comedians there for the bucket and one bucket spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I magically got the bucket spot. And it was a show in front of 150 people.
Wow.
And I have a video from it, and I did fine, but it was one of those, like the very first thing. So it was a guy's birthday, and the guy whose birthday it is, he picks the name out of the bucket, and he introduces me. He goes, come on down, and I come on, and he's still on stage when I get there. He's supposed to get off stage before I walk up and he's still there. And the first thing I said was, like, we looked alike a little bit, only in the way that, like, you and I look alike.
Yeah.
Dark hair, you know. And I was just like, yeah, I give it up for my uncle. You know, just an easy, and it was like they were the hottest crowd ever, and it just destroyed. And it destroyed so hard that this guy's like, I should probably get it back on stage. And he stood up on stage and wrapped his arm around me, and I was just like, I only have 3 minutes. Can I keep going now?
So you killed it with your first joke.
Get murdered.
Murdered. I mean,
it wasn't that good of a joke. I'll admit, it was not a great.
Well,
it was fine, you know.
The audience thought it was good, right?
Right. They were like, oh, this is hilarious. We're so drunk right now.
That's a good crowd.
Right. They were super into it, and so I start getting into jokes, and a girl heckles me, and I have to. And the first thing I said, and I don't even remember what the joke was about, like having sex, or it was a joke about sex, or no, the joke was about how I'm not addicted to anything. I don't have like a normal vice like most people.
Oh yeah, alcohol or tobacco.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not addicted to drugs,
Porn.
I'm not addicted to alcohol, whatever. And this girl goes, probably sex. And I was just like, do you see how I'm dressed right now? I looked like shit. I was just like, I had on, it was like laundry day, jeans and laundry, you know, like I looked terrible. And I was like, I look like shit. And that killed. I had 3 minutes, and I did like crowd work for 1:40 of it.
I think that's a good ratio.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was fine. It did well, you know, it worked, and everyone was like, that was a great set. But like, I did one joke, and it did fine, but you know, I spent my time just like, you know.
Well, it's good that you realized.
And that's to be fair, that's like the one time I wasn't prepared, was like
right.
to get on stage and say something. Like I didn't have my jokes prepared, because I'm like, I'm just here to hang out. I'm not getting on stage.
Yeah.
There's no point. Why am I preparing? And it's the one time that I.
But I think what's good is that you didn't stick to your material when it wasn't working.
Yeah.
A lot of comedians will just stick to it and be like, well, maybe you should interact. Listen, if you're new, don't interact with the audience. Like, they will heckle you and kill you. But if you know what you're doing and your material isn't working, what's wrong with reaching out and just talking about what's going on in the crowd?
Yeah, no, there is nothing wrong with it. I was just like, I had some stuff I'd wanted to try that night, and then in my brain, I was like, the adrenaline was going, and I just didn't think to do it. And then at that point, I was just like, well, this crowd work's working.
And now you're just a total crowd work 100% comedian.
I actually don't write jokes anymore. I just wait for the crowd to just.
Oh, that's so like meta.
To give them to me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like an improv. I'm like, let me get a suggestion for a job. And then they're like, plumber, that job sucks. Wait, let me get a job. Get it? Anyway. We here all week, baby.
All right, let me give you a suggestion for a job. Plumber.
Oh, that job probably sucks, huh? That job probably stinks.
That was good.
I'm
good
like a
crowd
90s
work.
comedian all of a sudden. Yeah,
what do you do?
That's about what I did.
Do you have a wife?
Yeah, and she stinks too. Hey.
Hey, my wife.
Oh.
Hey, my wife.
Oh, hickory dickory dock.
That is some older humor, but people still do it. Like, you see some older comedians coming back on the scene.
Yeah, every once in a while you'll see a guy who's like you're like, oh, you love Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Big fan. And but I mean, basically what you just did to me is like what happened during that show. And it destroyed. Like, and you watch the video, like there's a video of it. There's video evidence of this.
So you're posting it.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it on Reddit.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, what do you guys think? I've done comedy 3 times. What do you guys think? Should I
Please do it.
What do you guys think of this crowd work?
Create an alter ego, and we'll just mess with Reddit and be like, some Reddit, detective will be like, I know who you are.
Oh, dude, I see you posting a video last 6 months ago. I do always, for a while, I did do something like that. When I started, I would pretend. I'd be like, hey guys, this is my first time doing comedy, so if you guys could just be nice and be cool, and then I'd do jokes that I knew would work. Like, I did 3 years in jokes. This is my first time doing comedy, and then people would be like, wow, he's really good.
Yeah, when you said
I just would fool people into thinking
low
that
expectations.
Right. And then I think one time I went up and it didn't do that well, and I was just like, And the host was just like, come on, man, comedy's hard. Let's give it up for him. Let's make sure that, let's give some love. You know what I'm saying? And
That's always hard. When you had multiple years under your belt and you go to a mic, the host doesn't know you. You don't do well. And he's like, hey, man, it happens to
comedy's tough. Yeah, it happens to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a few years and you're just like, I've been doing this.
I've been doing it a couple years, actually. I really thought this was going to work out. So yeah, I mean, the video, so my preparation for a set, we've gone so far away from the question, but my preparation for a set is I write during the day. I try and come up with word for word what the joke is going to be, and I just test it out at an open mic, and I might give it like 2 or 3 tries. Like if it doesn't work within 3, then I'll either scrap it or I'll try and write something else, like some other angle.
Yeah, different punch, different angle.
Something else. Like, yeah, it's usually I'll get rid of that angle entirely. Because, like, a lot of times you get on stage, you don't realize that the path you're going down isn't the same path that other people are thinking.
Right.
So I try and, and then you get on stage and you realize, like, oh, wait, this isn't what I thought it was in my brain when I say it out loud like this.
Right.
So when that happens, I usually I cut it off right there and I say, okay, let me take this premise and maybe like create a path going this way instead.
Right.
So like if you're thinking about it, it's like a fork in the road, and then instead of going left, you go right.
That's a good way to put it. A lot of times people don't think about the premise or their setups of the joke, but there's preconceived ideas about it.
Yeah, and there's a thing like if you thought of this premise, there's probably a reason why. It's probably because you feel strongly about it. But you're not sure what about it is interesting to you. You have to kind of figure that out by doing shows. Mm-hmm. And so that's my preparation usually, is like I will go on stage with, like, again, word for word. I actually do it word for word. I'll say it in my brain over and over again. And then I'll say it out loud over and over again. And I write it down word for word. And I look at it. If I read it and I think it's funny, then I go, okay, I think this could work. And I say it to myself and I still think it's funny. Okay, And that's usually how, at least that's my preparation for doing a show. And I'm almost always like, I might forget I might forget which joke I meant to tell in between. Like, I'm very guilty of the like, oh, what was the next thing I wanted to say? I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Cause like I get through the whole bit and I know all of it. And then I finished that bit and I was like, what was the next one? Like,
yeah. Cause a bit could have multiple punches
or even
angles.
When I'm just transitioning to a new thought. Like if it's an entirely new bit, sometimes I just forget where I meant to place that bit or what, So that's like, at least that's another thing I'm trying to get better at, is like just being more prepared and knowing which jokes I'm telling when, and just not having to look at my phone.
Do you have 5 minutes now of just one topic where you could just be like, I could do 5 minutes just on work or relationships?
I don't think so. I think I have like up to 2.5 minutes on one topic.
I think it's a pretty good limit, because afterwards sometimes it gets boring.
Right. I have trouble coming up with, and it's not like, it may just be the style that I have, but like it's hard for me to, like, once I come up with a punchline that works, I just use that.
Right.
And then it's hard for me to, once that works, it's hard for me to be like, okay, now another thing.
Well, you do a couple tags with it, but yeah, you're right.
Right, like, and the tags are never as good as the first one for me. I don't know why. That's just how it works for me. Is usually the first, not the first one, but like I'll try it, it won't work a few times, and I finally come up with I finally like math it until it works, and then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to add more at the end.
Right.
But then those tags never quite reach the pinnacle of what the punchline was. You know what I mean? So my process has now become add punchlines into the, not into the setup, but you set up the joke and then you have a small punchline and then you have a slightly bigger one and then the real one's at the end. And then like,
so, you're doing a rule of 3. I mean, you're not doing anything new at the end, but you're building up.
And it may not be 3. It's just structurally like I have jokes where, like, I'm trying to think of one that falls under that cat. Like I have a whole joke about how, like we were discussing in the last one, how I played high school basketball. And the joke is like, hey guys, I look like an athlete. I'm small. Obviously I don't look like an athlete. So that's technically a punchline right there. And then I played basketball in high school, which is, again, when you look at me, it's kind of another one. but those are both small.
Right.
The joke is I played high school basketball for an entire game. And when you say and like you have to pause between entire and game. Like I played high school basketball for an entire game. And
because they might think season or
yeah, in your brain you think,
high
oh, a
school.
whole season or a whole
high
career.
school career, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I played for an entire game. And then, so that's almost another one. But the big one is that, like, I played the first game of high school basketball. I tried to set a pick on a guy. He was 6'2". He's really tall. He hit me really hard, and I fell on my back. And that's yeah, right. That's the moment that I was like, I don't think basketball is for me.
It's not for me.
Yeah, and then I was about halfway to the ground, and I was like, you know what? I think I might be more of an artist. That's the big one. But those little ones are still there to lead up to that big one. But then what I've heard you're supposed to do is after that big one, you're supposed to add more to tag on. But every time I try, I'm always like, it just never quite hits the same. It may just be I'm 4 years in, I'm not quite there yet, but
yeah, that's what people tell me too. They're like, you get your laugh, and then it's so much easier for them to laugh again at the same premise,
right?
The same setup.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if my jokes are. They're not. They can't be that complex where they forget what the punchline was.
Right.
But you're right. Like the tag is never as good.
Yeah, and it's because like, and really, I guess what you're supposed to do is maybe you add the tag before, or I'm not sure what the math is that.
Yeah, one of those are tags or just like details, because I do think those details are funny within your joke.
Right, and it's like I guess technically they're not. I don't know if you can necessarily call them punchlines, but I guess if it gets a laugh, it's a punchline.
Yeah, well, it's a joke, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but they are like little small ones that lead up to the big one at the end. I guess that's structurally how I set up jokes normally.
I like that.
That's my one example of like, I don't know. But then there's a few of them that are just like kind of like I have some stuff about like I have jokes. I guess I do technically have 5 minutes. I just don't know how much of it's connected, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause some of it, like I have jokes about how I have Crohn's disease. And then that affects my life because I can't drink or do drugs. And then, but technically being sober and Crohn's are not the same
thing
idea, but they are related. And that is one thing I've been trying to work on is like, even though they're not related, they kind of are, you know?
They flow together.
They flow together, and I can say that I have Crohn's and that's why I don't drink. And I also don't drink and then the other reason I don't drink is because I was, you know, because the joke is I started when I was 21 and the first drink I ever had was a Natty Light, which is, the joke is like, that's not a good place to start.
No.
Trying to get into drinking and starting with a Natty Light. That's like if you never heard a song before and we're like, let's see what Limp Bizkit's all about. Which is...
Wait, who's Limp Bizkit? Let's listen to them.
Oh, Limp Bizkit is they're like a rap nu metal band from
they
like...
sound good.
They were... I'm personally not a fan, but people were big fans of Limp Bizkit. It's like a big... it's like kind of what you're into if you're like from Florida.
Hey, Sarah, what do you want to listen to on the radio? Can I listen to Limp Bizkit?
We got a new Limp Bizkit single coming at you.
Chocolate Starfish.
7:52 in the morning. We're here with Limp Bizkit. We're here with Fred Durst. Fred Durst is the main guy. But yeah, essentially, like the whole premise there is that, I guess the structure like that one is just one punchline. There's no but it's quick, so I guess you can get away with it.
I think it's hard within 5 minutes too, because like if you're talking to someone, I only have 5 minutes. You want to do the best 5 minutes that you have, and a lot of times tags just don't allow you to do it. Yeah,
and that was part of the video too. Is I was like, I do think about that sometimes, where I was like since I posted that video on Reddit, I was like maybe, and if you listen to the last one, I posted a video on Reddit. I got flamed for it. Anyway, it's the whole thing. Listen to the last one. But I posted that video on Reddit, and people were saying you're going too fast. And part of me was thinking, like, maybe it's because it was only 4 minutes.
Is it 4 minutes now?
It was a 4-minute set.
And so they liked you at 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And I squeezed a lot in there, I think.
Because are they still doing 20 people?
Yeah. It's 20 people. It's 4-minute sets. And so part of me thinks, like, you know, I was going fast, but maybe it's because I was squeezing so much into that little amount of time.
That is hard, like when you've been practicing 5 minutes and then you're like, oh man, I only got really, I don't know, 2:45, because then your ending joke has got to be started.
You know, the thing is that like I've gotten to a place now where I can, like, I have like 9 minutes or 8 minutes or like somewhere around there, 8 to 9 minutes of jokes that like it all goes in this exact order and I can cut it off in any place.
That's good.
So
That's
if
good
I
to have those bits. You're like, I don't have to say Crohn's. I don't have to say beer. I don't have to say
Yeah,
basketball.
but
I
it's
get to
all like I can remember all of it because it's all in the same order.
so it builds upon it. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I do this joke, and this joke, for 4 minutes, and then if I do this one, and this one, that's
8 minutes.
8 minutes. So like it's all like it all, and then if at any point I need to stop, I can just stop after this one, or if it's 6 minutes, I can stop after the fourth one or
Do you
whatever.
have a closer that takes like a minute, like a closing joke?
Yeah, I mean I've tried to shoehorn in a short one in there, but like I always try and refer back to something I said before. It never really works that well though. If I just kind of go and I'm confidently saying it, I found that it works just fine if you like, cuz the way I do it is I just thread all of the jokes kind of lead into each other, or I try to lead them into each other to a place where like okay, I have Crohn's disease, and then I don't drink, and then I and I'm an artist, and I didn't play that's why I tried playing basketball, and that's why I'm an artist now. And then I'm a gentle soul, and that's why I play video games. That's why I play Minecraft. And I'm a gentle soul, but I have bad temper, so I have road rage, and like all of these things sort of lead into each other. But if you're doing a 5-minute set, you can stop it.
Yeah.
At the drinking stuff or whatever. So I don't know. That's how I handle it. Where I'm just like, well, I know exactly this
That's
whole
good.
set.
Yeah.
And I'm not nervous about it because I'm like, well, I know all of this, and I know where the punchlines are.
Yeah.
And I know where, and if it needs to be shorter, I can shorten it to just this part.
That's good.
So I think, at least for me, that's been the most successful thing that I've done so far. But if I'm at an open mic, I'll do whatever order. It doesn't.
Yeah, if you're just goofing around and then like there's
Yeah, you try, like I try and do something that works. Like I'll do the first joke that I normally do. Like I'll just do like, oh, I look like Harry Potter anyway. So here's a new joke.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Start with some stuff, try out some new stuff, end with something. Yeah.
Yeah, end with something that does work. And
yeah.
I don't know. So I guess that's structurally what I'll do if I'm trying to focus on like the length of the set.
Well, you heard it here on Funny-ish, how to structure your set.
At least how I do it. Thank you. Bye.